between tracks, between tracks, between tracks.
I spent a month in Belo Horizonte for a movie last year.
Oh, nice.
It was amazing.
I was gonna ask you, like, can you speak some Portuguese? Because I remember seeing an interview where you said you were prepping for a movie.
I don't have a lot of Portuguese in me. I had then because I had to, but I sort
Yeah,
of left
it
me
left the
after the movie.
building.
Yeah, I think it left. Yeah.
hmm
So I'm in
Nice.
London now at my friend's place.
No,
Yeah.
you live in London.
No, I don't anymore. I'd love to be back, but with Brexit and all that shit, it's a bit harder. A place in Paris and a studio in France in the countryside. So.
Nice. Your tour just, are you on a break now? It just ended, right? Your European
Yeah, yeah,
tour.
no, the tour just ended last weekend. I think I can't remember what day we are, but yeah.
hmm
So yeah, I came to London straight away, but so I did just done 7 weeks across Europe, basically.
Nice
Mm.
long one. How do
That
you
was good.
feel now that you're done? Does it take you like a while to get back into a normal routine, or do you sort of battle with that? I think I sometimes battle like the week
Yeah,
after. Mm.
yeah. Do you tour?
I tour as an artist and a tour manager. So for
Oh,
me, it's like a
amazing.
different thing, but I feel like it takes me a while to get back into a routine.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think the routine is fine with me now. It used to be very difficult when I
hmm
was younger because the stage persona and the person that you are when you're at home could feel very different, and I had a hard time to try to associate them both together. Now it's fine. Like I
Yeah.
I'm okay. I know who I am outside of stage, so I'm not confused. But I think it's just the exhaustion that's just sort of comes in that you didn't realize you accumulated, and also it's the loneliness. Like suddenly you have to be more lonely,
hmm
alone. I mean, and you have to get used to that. And I like it though. I was going to go back straight into the studio to write, but me and Johnny Hostile, we were thinking the guitarist who I work with, and he he we realized we probably need a week, where
hmm
we're apart, and not a holiday, but like a kind of a quiet
Just to
week where
reset.
you just
Yeah.
read and write and see friends, a little bit of, and
Yeah.
then back to the studio for sure. But yeah.
Nice. Your Johnny is your partner, right?
Met 21 years ago. Yeah, we could say partner. Yeah, I think that's a
hmm
quite good name. I don't really know how to describe this relationship. It is
hmm
quite different from anything I know. But yeah, you could say we're partners. I'd say, yeah,
hmm
we definitely like feel is the person I know the most and who knows me the most and who I feel the most connected to
Yeah.
and who I have the longest conversations with. Um, and so, yeah, but we started as a couple for sure. We started as a
hmm
couple and evolved into this kind of interesting. Uh, it's a couple still, but it's I don't know, collaborative with
Yeah.
distance and not distance. It's kind of
Yeah.
it's a free. We leave each other a lot of freedom, basically.
hmm
Um, I don't think me or him could do without, to be honest.
Yeah. It's beautiful that you found someone that sort of allows you to, not allows you to do that, but you understand each other. And the reason why I was
Yeah,
asking is because isn't it like quite a beautiful thing being playing with someone that's also in a sense like your best friend? Because the person knows you so well that they also know when to like push you, but also like when to sort of back off a bit.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Johnny is kind of for the lack of a better word, is kind of a muse to me. Is always pushed me to thinking differently. Is kind of an working as an agent of chaos into my life, which means that he brings contradictions, he brings questioning, um, and he brings answers, of course. Like there's
Yeah.
very important steps in my life that I've been able to do because he's part of my life, and he's been able to tell me things at certain points that were essential for me to hear, um, and choices I had to make. He helped me through them, and I think I do that for him as well. But from my perspective, he's also inspired me to write lyrics, certain lyrics, very early on, even in during some time in Savages.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, coming back home after, I don't know, a meeting with management or with the
Yeah.
band, which was very early on, was very hard and confrontational and not going really well. And me going back home furious about things, and then he'd hear me and he'd be like, well, write a song. I'd be like, oh yeah, actually, good idea. And then I remember writing "Shut Up," the Savages song, like that, um, and feeling empowered by that, feeling
Yeah.
then singing that on stage to people and just trying to, because it
Mm-hmm.
really felt like if you wanted to succeed, people made you feel or manipulated you to feel that, to fear that, if you wanted to succeed, you had to shut up, So that
Yeah.
was the song.
You've been touring for a long time, right? Do you find that it's
Mm.
still as exciting to you? Or do you,
Yeah,
is it like you still get nervous for each show?
I'm excited but not nervous
Okay.
anymore. I had the butterflies in a way, like I'm
Mm-hmm.
excited, but I'm not anxious. I'm not
Yeah.
worried. I just walk through it as open as I can.
Mm-hmm.
I think you get nerves when you're trying to control something, and I used to get nerves a lot, because I was very much trying to control, my output, and I think it's necessary to go through that. I mean, for me, it was
Mm-hmm.
like I spent probably all of my 20s figuring out what to do with the stage. It was my obsession. It was what I was the most interested in.
Like
I used
moving
to
around and stuff, like the engaging part.
that, and also what it means.
Mm-hmm.
What are we trying to achieve? Why do we do it? What's the audience part in it? What do I want to achieve with that?
Mm-hmm.
Um, what place it has in society? Like, I don't know, like, why? And then how to be on stage. And so I was more working on that than working on myself in any way. So when I reached 30, past 30, like 33, 34, I completely collapsed because I was only happy on stage. Like I was,
Okay.
am I going to reframe that? I was only comfortable
On stage.
when I was on
Yeah.
stage because that's the area I had mastered. I really worked on.
Mm-hmm.
So now I feel like I've worked on that. So I don't, it took me a while, but recently for this last record, You Heartbreaker You, when me and Johnny, you know, find the musicians we're going to work on for the tour and started rehearsing and stuff. We quickly realized that we're going to stop rehearsing. There's no
Mm-hmm.
point. Like, we know how to do this. And at some point, we need
Yeah.
to be a bit clever about how we manage our time. But I
Yeah.
used to, especially with Savages, I used to rehearse
A lot.
so much. And even before with John and Jen, my project that I had before with Johnny Hostile, like we used to rehearse, like it was mental. It would be like 8 hours a day. With
But don't
Savages
you
also, and
find
we
it like that can be kind of bad in a way because you become kind of like a robot, right? It's like, I don't know. I've spoken to people about this when they over rehearse. Like, there's even some people that sort of say the same things in between each song for every tour, like every time they play. And it kind of becomes like monotonous. Whereas, I don't know, I feel like when you're kind of more present, even if it's not perfect, there's the energy of like you giving as opposed to just muscle memory, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. For me to rehearse at the time for so intensely for John and Jen, then for Savages, it was necessary, and that's what made I
Hmm.
think the shows very, very different. In Savages, it felt like I mean, for John and Jen, it was through necessity because I it felt like rehearsing was a way to be prepared, was a way to calm the nerves,
Yeah.
to make you feel like you could step on stage in front of
Hmm.
people. And I don't think it kills the instinct on stage. It's kind of the opposite to me, anyway. But
Yeah.
it's even in acting. I think it's a long time debate, isn't it? Like it's this is the ultimate debate. Like, do we rehearse a lot so that we're
Hmm.
free, or do we not rehearse so we're free? You know, but the
Yeah.
goal is the same in a way. So you have to know what is right for you.
What
But
word?
for Savages, I think it was more that because we were girls, it was very clear that we had to be better than any
Hmm.
male band around.
Hmm.
And from the first show we played, people were gobsmacked, like, "Oh, is this their first show?" But because
Yeah.
we'd worked so hard, like to to master the songs and the writing and the presence, and because rehearsing is not just, oh, this chord, then this chord, then this chord. You know, it is that at first because you
Yeah.
need to learn, but after that, it's the work on your imagination. It's
Right.
being in a room with people, and even if you're not moving, you're closing your eyes, but you're imagining yourself on
Like
stage.
on.
It's working your imagination. It's picturing things so that then you can do them. It's almost
Hmm.
like a trick of the mind. It's manipulating your mind, like hypnosis or
Hmm.
meditation. You know,
Hmm.
you're
Like
imagining it.
visualizing. Yeah. You're
Yeah,
visualizing
yeah.
yourself in the moment. So when
Yeah,
it
and
happens,
so
it's, yeah.
you know what to do because
Yeah.
you've seen yourself do it, even though you didn't do it in the rehearsal room. You
Yeah.
can also move, yeah, like try things, but it's different. An audience changes everything. It's
Hmm.
like boxing. Like I've been training, doing boxing for 9 years now, and it's the same. Like if you train, nothing compares to when there's an audience. Like when you actually have to do the fight with the audience, you lose you lose probably 30%, if not more, of your capacity, like probably 70% actually,
Yeah.
um, because of the adrenaline, you know, and
Hmm.
so that's why you rehearse. That's why you train, is to
I guess
be the most
so.
efficient on the time
Yeah. I
the
actually, I
audience is.
wouldn't say I take back what I say, but you explained it in a way now that does make sense. It's almost like a lot of rehearsing and preparation in a way then allows you for freedom as well, because you are,
I think so, yeah.
right? Does that make
It's the
sense?
same for
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
I think it's the same in life. I found it's the same in life.
Hmm.
And I see connections between, for instance, working on a craft, like we explained, and working, it's another body activity, like your sexuality. It's like, for me,
Hmm.
it's the same thing. Like I had to, as a woman anyway, I had to understand how my body works. And that took
Hmm.
effort, time, practice. And
Yeah.
then you get to a point where around your 30s, or you peak, sexually,
Hmm.
you sort of feeling, oh, I've mastered, not that I'm mastered, because there's always room for discovery and improvement, but you feel that you have tools and you're equipped, and you can then deal with situations in the world and
Yeah.
experimentation. So I think music is the same, or stage is the same for me. I feel now, you were asking about, do you still have nerves? I don't, because I know what I'm doing. Trying to protect, though, is the thing that you described, which is the automatic, like
Hmm.
not to become a robot. And that can happen but that only happens not because you rehearse too much, not because you play too much shows, not because you repeat the same things every night. It happens because you are not present in your life. I think we can spend a lot of time in our life to be absent from our own
Hmm.
lives and our own bodies, and fool everybody about it, and
Hmm.
even ourselves. And I think It happened to me. I had several years of my life where I was not in my body. It was impossible for me to be in the present because I
Mm-hmm.
was um, trauma does that to you. You know,
Yeah.
you step out of yourself and
Yeah.
you're not behind your eyes. And music is for me, and that's my answer to why do I perform, is music is a tool to bring back people into their own bodies. That's how I
Mm-hmm.
see it, is to
Mm-hmm.
even myself. And
Mm-hmm.
I've played shows where I can see now when I watch the footage, like I can see, oh, I wasn't there. I wasn't
Yeah.
there. I was somewhere
You can
else.
tell. Yeah.
And nobody can tell. I mean, some expert
You can
eyes
tell
would
though.
know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and some friends or people would know. And there's some artists I see where I'm like, oh, there's those eyes there.
Mm-hmm.
The person's
Mm-hmm.
not behind it. It's like sort
Mm-hmm.
of right after.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very painful. And for me, the writing of the new record, You Heartbreaker You, is that moment when I came back into my body and it was on stage. It was at a Riot Festival in America, and there was a mosh pit, there was a connection with the crowd. Something happened musically, visually, and boom, I was back in my body after like years,
Oh, that's
probably two, three
beautiful.
years of being away. And I was like, oh, I know what I want to write. I know what the
Mm-hmm.
album is going to be like,
Mm-hmm. That actually
because
made
now
me a
I'm back,
bit
I can do it.
emotional. My eyes, sorry, my eyes are a bit
Yeah.
watery hearing you say that. I think it's beautiful that you also know your reasoning behind why it is you perform and why it is you make music. Because sometimes I feel like I speak to some friends of mine that are musicians and they know they love to write, or they know I don't want to say they know they like the idea of they want to be a musician, but sometimes I think people, especially like when you're in your 20s, they don't necessarily know like the true reason as to why they are performing. And it does show, I
Mm,
think, like in big crowds, it does show at festivals. And I
mm,
guess there's no right or wrong. I think maybe like you say, it just sort of takes time, right? Like you need to figure out why it is you're doing that for yourself. And that can be applied to any areas in your life. It doesn't have to necessarily be if you're a musician. It
mm.
can be, why do you do this job, or why do you see this person, or why do you, yeah.
Well, it's just that for me, when I just think of writing a new record, my first thought is usually nobody needs a new record. Nobody needs that record. Like, there's like millions of records being made and released every day. Like, why would I put one out? Like, what do I want to say? Like, what is this thing? I mean, when you're young and I still have it, but I think you have to have that necessity of doing it, and I think it starts from within. It starts from I
Yeah.
have to do this. Otherwise, it's so laborious and difficult and to do it that you won't be able to finish if you're not pushed by and unspoken
Yeah.
force, hidden, unexplained force that is rests within you, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you cannot really function in life with
Yeah.
unless you do this. So that well, you need that. So
Yeah.
that's your that's
Yeah.
your fuel,
Definitely.
but but everyone can write a song. Like you could write a song tomorrow. I can write a song tomorrow,
I don't know.
and why no, you could, like, you definitely, I think you can do a painting, like, but
Mm-hmm.
who gives a shit, in a way. Like,
Yeah.
and it's fine, you can do that, but if you feel like you want more, which is people paying attention, if you want a
Yeah.
conversation basically,
Yeah.
then that's when I think the world you live in comes in and
Mm-hmm.
should not dictate what you write about or what you want to say, but it's going to come into in interaction with the world. So I do believe it's an interesting question to ask yourself, that where does the album lands,
Definitely. Yeah.
in what area of music we are, what do I bring on the table that others don't, what it,
Mm-hmm.
it sounds very brainy, but and you cannot write an album just with that, but it is still
It
interesting. Yeah.
it makes sense though. It definitely makes sense. Would you say that what would you say comes more naturally to you, recording or performing? Which one is more enjoyable? Do you have
That's interesting. For a long time, performing was more enjoyable for me
mm-hmm,
than writing and recording. The last record was made just the two of us with Johnny Hostal in our studio at home,
mm-hmm,
and we found this sort of rhythm and pace, and and it was a very nice, enjoyable process, creative, because we were writing music, but we were also making t-shirts, like silk screening, taking pictures, and it
right.
was this sort of cooking meals,
Yeah.
and then watching films, and then the next day then back at it again, and it was this sort of, oh, I want life to be just that, basically.
Mm-hmm,
um and So yeah, so now I'm looking forward to, I've been writing since earlier this year for the next record, and I'm looking forward to go back next week. And it's I have a calling for it, I
mm-hmm,
which I didn't used to have.
mm-hmm. Do you feel like once, because I know this can happen a lot when you're like busy recording and you're listening, obviously you're like listening to the mixes a lot and you're listening to the
Mm.
mastered version, hopefully not that many times, but
Oh, it's the worst. Yeah,
by the
painful
time,
process.
yeah, by the time it comes
Mm.
out, do you feel a little bit detached from your work or not really?
Mm. I mean, uh,
There's no right
hopefully
or
not.
wrong. Yeah.
Hopefully not.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. Not in the way that I make music, I think. I could
Mm-hmm.
understand why it would work for,
For
because the
people.
way I make music is very much artisanal. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's not written or produced like, some music is written and produced right now, which is more
Yeah.
industrial,
Yeah.
even involving AI, even. Which, in a way, also doesn't mean that it's not personal. I mean, AI can be a tool, like,
Mm-hmm.
to unlock stuff, but it depends how you use it, basically. But so the way I make music is very much, it has to resonate with me. I want to believe what I sing about. That connection stays, I think. But I
Yeah.
don't listen to the records after, though. I don't. Once the
No.
master's done, it's like I'm done with this. Like
Yeah.
I'm not listening to this anymore. This is for the world. I'm gonna concentrate on playing them live, which is another
Yeah.
can of
And
worms.
like not even a few years later, you have a listen, you go, oh, this is actually really good.
Yeah, that can happen. Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Or, oh God, too much reverb.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Do you have like a, I mean, like you were saying when you're recording this last album, you had like a nice rhythm of being creative and collaborative throughout the recording and cooking and everything. Do you have a routine before you go on stage when you're touring? Do you like a routine?
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I think routine
Yeah.
is essential. Touring is like it's like doing a sport, it's
Hmm.
like competing in the Olympics, or it
Yeah.
could be that anyway, but you have to fall into those patterns to make things work. And
Yeah.
the, for the voice, I will do vocal, simple, boring
Hmm.
vocal training before going on. There's the makeup routine, um, steaming your dress or whatever you have. All those are gestures that you make, choosing jewelry, vocalizing more, and then I drink hot water all day as well, so
Hmm.
that I don't drink anything cold for the vocal
Yeah.
cords. I stop coffee quite early because that hurts
The
the
throat.
vocal cords.
Yeah.
I drink hot water with ginger and lemon,
Hmm.
sometimes honey if I need more. Help. I try not to speak too much because that hurts as well, the voice. And then I'll do a few stretches as well. And then there's the routine with the band, like we hug, we say
Mm-hmm.
stupid shit, we have to laugh before we go on, like,
Yeah.
like crack jokes, states,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And
No.
then we usually do a stupid game, but she for me, when you
Yeah.
do,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So we do that, and then whoever wins, it's like it's a little game to. It takes 2 seconds, but it's just so that we're playful with each other, and
Yes. You're like
so that's
engaging
it
with each
really.
other. Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I usually high five my tour manager,
Mm-hmm.
and then go on.
Does it take you like a
Yeah.
while once you're on stage to get into the rhythm and feel, like you say, fully present? Or is it like from the get-go, now that you've been doing it for so long?
From the get-go.
From the get-go. Nice.
Yeah. As soon as I walk on,
Mm-hmm. Like something
I don't
just
want to jinx it
switches.
though, because I don't know why,
Touch
why it's
wood.
like that for,
Yeah.
yeah, but the way you walk on stage will determine the show. So I try to walk with as much confidence as I can muster. It's like
Mm-hmm.
open heart, smile. Usually I do that,
Mm-hmm.
and I just like reach out to everyone as open as I can,
Yeah.
and then let the music come in. It's a safe place, stage. So once I figure out it was a safe place, I just, you know, I you can go all open, like
Mm-hmm.
nothing bad is gonna happen to you. But
Mm-hmm.
it changed when I got sober, basically, because I stopped drinking maybe 15 years ago.
Okay.
Um, and then I stepped on stage for the first time actually in Melbourne. It was with
Mm-hmm.
Savages. I cried on the second song because I heard the crowd. I used to not hear them because of alcohol, not hear
Yeah.
them as much anyway, or not take them seriously or guard myself from it.
Like,
And then
yeah,
suddenly sober, I was like, oh,
just
there's like
absorbing it. Just
3,000 people
mm-hmm.
here
Mm-hmm.
for us cheering.
Mm-hmm.
It made me cry. I was like, this is amazing. I was like,
Yeah.
so I got really hooked on that. I was like,
I was gonna
this is
ask
the
you,
best fucking high.
was that like something that was kind of like I want to not the reasoning, but like it added to, oh, I want to continue feeling like this, you know?
Yeah, but I want to be here.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be here. I want to enjoy this. I want to be here. I want
Mm-hmm.
to feel this. Like, why would I not want to feel this?
Do you find it pretty well? I mean, you've been sober now how many years? 15 years.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty
Do you
much.
find it like you're pretty used to it now, right? But did you find it in the beginning pretty challenging just because there is a lot of like drinking and substance abuse in the music industry, like all
Yeah.
around? That must have been quite challenging. Did you
It
have?
wasn't for me. Uh, Luckily, I'm not addicted. I
Mm-hmm.
don't have addictions to alcohol,
Mm-hmm.
so I never, never, ever wanted to drink
Mm-hmm.
again. I know for some people it's much more
Yeah.
laborious because every
Yeah.
day they have to say no to something that they really want. So whether that's alcohol or drugs. So I'm lucky. The thing that is the fact that there were alcohol free everywhere was something that already pissed me off from an early time. Even in John and Jen, me and Johnny stopped drinking like 2 years before me or something. That was also like a good for me example. But the fact that it was everywhere, the fact that you have to beg for water, but you have beer for free, and
Yeah.
it's poisoning the artist basically. It's like
Yeah.
I don't think we live in a society that treat the artist really well, and that alcohol-free thing is, I think, it's part of it. It's like
Mm-hmm.
damage yourself, it's self-destructive, and it's the fact that we think that alcohol will help you write a good song is not true.
Mm-hmm.
It's to me, it's a lie. It's a myth that
Mm-hmm.
we sell, and I see it more as a manipulation to self-destruct. And so, but the difficult thing though, when I was sober and the rest of the Savages band, for instance, was not, is that then I could see the violence that that was generated from alcohol. I kind of didn't want that anymore.
You didn't
I
want to do
just
it.
felt, no, I didn't want to be around that.
Yeah.
I didn't want to.
Yeah.
I felt that was. I felt dissociating from
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
more from the band because of that.
How did your sort of music and acting journey start? Were you always wanting to be performative when you were small? Like, was that something that happened at home with your parents? Where did
Yeah,
it
I mean,
begin?
I grew up in a family where uh, my father started a theater company and then opened a national drama school in France in my hometown. And so my house was kind of always full of, writers, actors, and,
Yeah.
people you would work with. And after school, it was very normal for me to go to the theater and sit in the dark and watch rehearsals, for some of his plays. And then when I was 4, I was on stage for a very small character in one of his plays. But so I think stage was always for me um, a place that I get hooked of.
Yeah.
I think from a very early age, I was like, "What is this?"
Yeah.
And I felt very attracted to it. And I think I was always a performer. Like
Mm-hmm.
my sister wasn't; she was very shy, but I was like the
Mm-hmm.
look at me type
Yeah.
child, which must have been very painful. But yeah, and so not enough to make a career, but it was, I think it's always been in me. But also, so that was theater, and I trained as an actress
Mm-hmm.
very early on, and then through my teenage years, but music was my thing in the household. It was like rock and roll was the thing that I discovered myself. I had
Mm-hmm.
magazines, I had like friends who were into music, and I always wanted to be in a band. That was my dream,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
And and I always wanted to be in a girl band. Actually, it was like
Really?
very early on.
Cool.
Yeah, I used to go
Yeah.
to girls in my school and be like, "Do you want to
Like
start a
ask
band?"
them.
And
Oh, sweet.
yeah, but I didn't even have songs. Like I didn't, it was
Mm-hmm.
just I wanted to be in a
You
band.
like the idea.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and they always said no, and then um, until I could do Savages basically
Mm-hmm.
in my late 20s. So music, I went to gig concerts very early. I was in love with music. It was like my passion, really.
Mm-hmm. Would you
Mm.
say you had like a aha type of moment when you were busy either performing or recording where you felt like, okay, this is like the thing I'm supposed to be doing?
Well, there's so many, but maybe one was when Johnny Hostile and I started making music together.
Mm-hmm.
Um, After we met, probably 6 months after we met, and we wrote some songs together. He taught me how to use the studio. He taught me everything I didn't know, like set up drums, to mic drums, to use the Logic, to use the desk, and told me everything so I could record and produce with him, and we were kind of equal, in that way. We would record each other, and I was
Yeah.
great. I was, it was amazing. Like suddenly it's
Yeah.
like being a painter and being offered paint and be like trying out things. And so after that, we made like a small EP, and rough trade shops in London picked it up and sold them.
Nice. Yeah.
Wrote about it on their website and sold them on their in their shops and stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
that was wow for us. It was like we came from like France. It felt like mind blowing. So we took our car, we drove to London, went to the rough trade shop to see our EP there, and it was mind blowing. It was like
It's
we were next to
beautiful.
our idols. So that's
Yeah.
when we decided to move to London, basically.
Yeah, I have a lot of time and respect for the people working there as well. Um,
Yeah, and the rough trade shops across the UK are keeping culture alive.
mm-hmm.
They're putting on shows, they're
Mm-hmm.
selling records. It's a cafe.
Mm-hmm.
They're selling books, and they're doing talks, and
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
what, in France we have a lot of government money to keep to for those things to happen, but in the UK you don't have. So rough trade is essential
No.
to
Yeah.
keep like music culture, and even broader
Alive.
than that, like art culture alive in Bristol, in like Manchester, in
Yeah.
like in different cities across the
Yeah.
country. So
W-
important.
You are obviously in a lot of movies that I like, but I think obviously the one that I think people know you the most for is Anatomy of a Fall, right?
Yeah.
How was that experience working on that movie? Was it
It-
different to the previous
it's
projects you worked on?
it was great. Like I just when Justin Tree called me to say I had the part, because I casted for the role. um I cried. Like, I was really happy to play this part. I When
Mm-hmm.
I read the script before I did the casting, I read it and it was like, this is amazing. Like, I knew her films before and I loved her films, like especially her first one. um and um and so I was a fan already, but when I read the script for this movie, I felt she was going on another level. um, Sandra Hüller was going to play, and I was like,
Yeah.
she's amazing. I just felt that it was going to be a very good movie. Literally, I just felt this has a chance to become a really good movie. You never know
Mm-hmm.
how things end up, but I felt connected to it. I think so. My When I did the casting, I really worked hard for it. I was very determined to have it because I really
Mm-hmm.
loved it. Then the shooting was just like a normal movie. It was like, in the Alps. We spent weeks there, and everyone was really nice. And Justin is like a very energetic director. She
Mm-hmm.
would make you do a lot of, repetition, and like you do
Yeah.
the scenes a lot. Like she really travels with you, asks you to do so many different things
Mm-hmm.
in one scene. So it's very interesting. And Sandra is, uh, and I mean, I adore her acting. And she became really good friend, and everyone is very nice. So yeah. So, but no one could predict what
What
was
was
going
going
to
to come?
happen. Like,
Yeah.
the only time I knew is when we did the screening in Cannes a
Mm-hmm.
year after, and I saw the reaction from my friends who were in the room, from the people in the room, the people talking at the festival. I
Yeah.
just could tell. Like, I was like, oh my God,
Oh.
this film, everyone loves it. It's not even
Yeah.
a debate. Like, everyone is
No.
like mind blown by it. And I was like, okay, this is very. I mean, I could sense there was a really strong chance they could get the Palme d'Or. I even said it to Justin as a joke, and she was like, shut up, don't want to say that. And then when they have it, I was like, fuck, that's
Mm-hmm.
amazing. Like, because it is such a good movie, and I think it talks about what we rarely talk about, which is the reality of couples, and
Mm-hmm.
heterosexual couples, and also artists, and
Yeah.
together when they work together and trying to manage time.
Yeah.
It's like always negotiating who spends the most time on mundane things, who spends the most
Yeah.
time on their art, and that conversation. I mean, something I've been through, like a lot of people have been through.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very interesting, more than the murder. For me, the murder was never really a question.
No,
Everyone's like, "Who killed him?" I'm like, I don't
you
care. Like,
missed the point. You've
yeah,
missed
but a lot
the
of
point of the movie if
but
you're
a lot of
asking
people
that.
ask that question, and I have to say,
Really?
especially American people, yeah,
Yeah.
Americans, it's all about who killed who, and I was like,
Yeah.
I don't care.
The thing that I think I enjoyed the most about the film, Sandra's character is such a like strong and unapologetic and
Mm,
ambitious and creative individual. And
mm.
like you said, the sort of dynamic between the husband and the wife, the two artists, and I think also the sort of ego that comes with that as well.
I think Justin is really good at writing female characters you haven't really seen
Mm-hmm.
before. She's done that
Mm-hmm.
before in previous movies, and I think this one it's definitely a female character that is kind of shaped in a new way with elements of the past, but yeah, Sandra's character is kind of mean as well. I think she lacks empathy a little bit,
Yeah.
which is rare for a woman.
It's almost like she, I mean, there's no right or wrong. Everyone's opinions are different when we watch something or listen to something. But I sometimes felt like it's almost like she has a lot of male characteristics. And that's why we're
Yeah.
kind of like not repulsed, but we're kind of like, oh,
Mm.
that's too much. But that's just like your not I don't want to say average male because there are
Yeah.
some beautiful men out there, but yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why so many people are like a bit taken aback by it.
Yeah, and probably the dynamic between male and women, usually opposite to what the film
Yeah.
portrays. The film is brilliant is because the writing is not that obvious. Complicated, it's layered, it's like, as you
Mm-hmm.
said, there's not one truth about the movie, which I think is what makes it great.
Mm-hmm. Would you say, are you like a method actor? Not really.
um, yeah, method acting is something that came from, Marlon Brando and all those guys, like, around the 50s, I guess. And it's sort of no, I've never been into that. I think
Mm-mm.
it's a little bit similar to what I was saying earlier about who am I on stage, who am I off stage. To understand, I think what can happen is like you don't know who you are outside of acting. I think that
Yeah.
happens to a lot of actors. So you probably fill that in with trying to extend your character into your life instead of figuring out what your life is about. Um, that can be confusing at first. So I'm not a method actor, although I realized that what I loved about making movies, and especially when I did the Jacques Audiard movie, that's when I learned that a character in a movie is done by a lot of people, not just the actor.
Mm-hmm.
The costume director, the art direction, the even the lines you're saying, even the
Yeah.
makeup you're wearing, the set.
Yeah.
That's feeling into what the character is. So you're not
Mm-hmm.
alone trying to figure out who is this person. Probably 20% of that.
Mm-hmm.
You're bringing, your part. But so once I realized that, I was sort of calmer about it. I was like, also, it's not that acting is easy, but it is, you can always redo, you can always retake, you can always,
Mm-hmm.
and the edit is what makes the movie anyway.
Yeah.
So once you realize all these things, the key to acting, I think, is to being relaxed, the way I see it anyway. So once I realized all these things, I was just more relaxed and able to give something, and and definitely the more you do it, the more relaxed you are, and I think that helps.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I think I've become a better actor throughout all the movies I've done
Mm-hmm.
throughout the years, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Do you think like because we were talking about Sandra's personality, like her character being quite sort of fierce and unapologetic, do you
Mm.
think that there's still a big misunderstanding with women that are very confident, whether it's performing? Like, do you think that people sometimes misunderstand you? Because I would say from the outside, you're quite a confident person,
Mm.
especially when I watch like your stage presence. Are people intimidated by you? And by people, I mean men.
Oh yeah, it takes a certain kind of man to
Mhm.
to deal with me, I think, but it's good. I prefer that, but and definitely Johnny is one of the most, I think, courageous men I know in that sense, because I'm a lot to deal with, I suppose, but also I don't want to say that because I'm just myself. And but there's this preconception that, women have to take less space. And so
Yes.
if you take more, I think it can destabilize men because they're not equipped to deal with that because they've been told that's not what a woman is. So I think for a man, it's a journey for them to understand that. And the clever
Yeah.
ones understand that because they're able to self-analyze their own thinking and your own thinking, and they work work it out with you. And they
Fair.
keep learning and loving the new version of yourself because we're
Yeah.
constantly evolving. But it's funny you mentioned that because I recently rewatched a documentary about L7
Hmm.
because of usually of the passing of Jennifer and the bassist. And I there's a line there that someone says um, that, obviously people were asking about L7, especially early on, like, why are they so enraged,
Yeah.
And the woman says they were not enraged, they were just showing strength.
Yeah.
And when women show strength, we feel that we don't understand. Like we feel, oh, but why so much hatred? Why so much rage? And it's like, no,
Anger.
no, no, they're just
Yeah.
showing strength. Yeah. Why so
Yeah.
much anger? Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and I
Because
thought that was, so to answer you, I just think it's the same today, right? I do think not much has changed.
no, I was going to ask you, like, do you feel like it's changed from when you started in Savages to now?
Well, okay, it's a tricky question. I think for Savages, it's interesting because on one side, you could say that we were blessed with having an amazing record deal with Matador that took
Hmm.
us really seriously, that we were playing a lot of shows across the world where we're not stopped. I still think that there was a glass ceiling because the examples of all female bands in the past, so L7, the Slits, maybe Hole, but Hole was not all female. None of those bands, Hole were a big band, but none of this. There's not an example of an all female band that went as big as Oasis, for instance. Like,
No. Yeah.
doesn't exist.
No.
So, so what I believe is like there's no precedent. So
Hmm.
when you're an all female band, there's no imagination in people's minds. And so in people's checkbooks, when
Hmm.
they pay for you to develop you, then they're not thinking as
Thinking the same.
they would be with a male band. Because a male band, like whether, it's a whole male band, they write songs, they're quite, oh, maybe they can be the next Oasis. We're going to bet on that. But for
Yeah.
women, I think we don't have that example. So that is one thing that I feel is still true today. I think there's not enough women being booked at festivals, headliners.
Hmm.
Sadly, we have to do special female festivals. I would love to attend that just because it would be fucking amazing. Like,
Hmm.
all these women playing, the energy is going to be fucking high and
Yeah.
amazing. So as an audience member, I'd love to see that, but I would love if it was not ghettoized. I would
Yeah.
love if it was normal for, I don't know, Primavera to
Hmm.
have the majority of female singers. What Olivia
Hmm.
Rodrigo is doing is saying, hey, look, it's possible. All these artists are
100%.
huge, big, like,
Yeah.
you can do it. So I guess it's important to do it that way, but I'd love if that became more mainstream.
It's really up to the male dominated bands or the male, yeah, like the male bands to question it, when they are
Mm,
submitting to play or when their record labels or booking agents are sort of submitting for festival, because we can do all we want, but I think it is up to them to sort of question it. Like, why are more male artists not questioning it? Like, please, can we see your
mm,
lineup? Can we see the sort of statistics, things like that? Because
mm,
I don't want to necessarily say they have the power, but they do have the
mm.
platform to speak about it.
Early on, when I started doing interviews as a front person in Savages, immediately people would ask me about feminism. Are you a
Hmm.
feminist? And in my young age, I didn't have the culture that much. I didn't know much about feminism, I have to admit. It only came later into my life.
Yeah.
Although I was listening to artists that were feminists, like Le Tigre, Kathleen Hanna,
Hmm.
or Peaches, or they were part of my
Hmm.
growing up. But in a way, I didn't really consciously think they were feminists. I would
Yeah.
just love their music and their energy, and I wanted to do the same. But so my usual reply was like, why don't you ask the male bands about feminism? Why
Hmm.
do I have to answer about this when you ask male bands about music? I want to be taken seriously. as a
Yeah.
musician. So don't talk to me about feminism. Don't talk to me about clothes.
Mm-hmm.
What are you wearing? What's your favorite brand? What's your makeup routine? Whatever the fuck is that? And to ask me about music, like you do with the male bands.
Yeah,
So and it was a real fight. And I got a reputation early on to be difficult.
because of that.
Uh, Journalists were
That's
afraid
ridiculous.
to talk to me. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was insane.
Obviously, don't ask about hair and makeup and stuff, but my husband was my husband was asking me the other day. We were looking on Instagram and stuff. Um, and he was asking me what hair gel you use because your hair always looks so beautiful. And we always discuss like different, we both been like complaining about our hairstyles, like we need to get a new hairstyle. And he was like, wow, but she has really cool hair. And you never have any flyaways and stuff. So you can tell me
No.
like off air if there's a product you use.
No, I can tell you now. It's a gel that I've been using. I've been saying this for like a long time now because people have
Uh-huh.
asked me a lot.
Uh-huh.
It's a Japanese gel. It's called Cool Grease. Blue bottle. It's a blue one you can get
Okay.
because there's a red and a black. And Johnny Hussa found it in Japan when we were playing there with Savages at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never found something so good. So there
Uh-huh.
we go.
Thank you. I'm going to share that with them after this. Well,
Cool.
thank you so much for the chat.
Thank you.
It's been lovely meeting you finally,
Same.
meeting you via Zoom. But I do have one or two more questions for you if you have the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Firstly, what would you change in the music industry if you could? And
Hmm.
secondly, what is something you want people to remember you by one day, whether that's in your personal life or as an artist?
Mm. Okay. They're not easy questions. Music industry has changed a lot
Mm-hmm.
recently, so and it's changing quite fast.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that I don't know if I would change, but I would encourage, sorry, is what's happening right now with the music industry is that there's no development anymore. So labels sign artists already had a hit on TikTok,
Mm-hmm.
already have an audience, but the artists have to develop themselves
Yeah.
in order to be picked up by a record company. The record company is not doing the work anymore of development. Artists who survive are people who need to, you still need to pay your rent, you still need to, and it only emphasizes investing into something um, that is financially viable. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's only looking at numbers instead of
Mm-hmm.
looking at art. And not
Yeah.
every art will be successful straight away, or not every art is good because it's successful, or it's like the connection between
Definitely.
artist and celebrity. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, you're an artist, oh, you must be famous. It's kind of the same vibe. It's like artist, it's redefining what the function of an artist is in
Mm-hmm.
society. And some more intimate art uh, also needs to exist. It's almost like in agriculture, if you
Yeah.
don't nurture the soils, you can't get the crops, and so you have to. There's a um, culture is a microsystem, with a lot of different elements that feed off
Mm-hmm.
each other, and that's
Mm-hmm.
how then the bigger plants grow, and
Yeah.
but all that soil is important to protect, and to only reduce that to the hands of the algorithms and people's choices,
Mm-hmm.
then you don't. There's a lot of great art that's not going to make it, and I think that's not good.
Yeah.
Capitalism cannot rule, this world. It has to be protected. Basically, it's
Mm-hmm.
like everything, like
Mm-hmm.
food, like
Yeah.
um, education, health,
Yeah.
And for that, I think people need to learn about punk rock. They need to learn about, you know, find people who who resemble you, find people who think like you, dress like you,
Mm-hmm.
and create spaces of expressions outside of the systems, outside of social media, outside of everywhere that you've been told is what you should use, um, and have fun while you do it and get laid while you do it, you know.
Yeah.
That's what young people should be doing, you know,
Yeah.
basically, instead of straight away going into that sort of competitive, um, capitalist,
Mm-hmm. Chasing
that
the
is
algorithm as
social
well.
media. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so that's what I would encourage record labels to do, the music industry, is to keep people, and there are still people doing it, protect and keep the people in the industry who still believe in development and want to develop artists, and artists who don't make money on their first, second record, third record, and then the fourth one will be the one. That's
Yeah.
something that artists like me wouldn't exist if
If it
that
wasn't.
system didn't
Yeah.
exist. Yeah,
Yeah.
like PG Harvey wouldn't exist.
Yeah.
Like artists who are in the long, working in the long run, you know,
Mm-hmm.
basically. Pop music artists don't make it necessarily on their first record, you know, and they need
Yeah.
development. They need to find their
Yeah.
voice. Like Doishi was one example.
Mm-hmm.
This, you know, some artists need time, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
suddenly everything clicks.
Yeah.
And and that needs funding. You know, I'm not really bothered with what I leave behind me. My ideal scenario would be to leave the earth and not leaving a trace, because I feel it's kind of the ultimate, you know. I don't really believe in long term. Like, there's so many artists, writers who've excelled in their time and are forgotten today. That doesn't mean that they were not important at the time. It was
Mm-hmm.
just a way for them to earn money as well. It was just a way to
Yeah.
survive, grow
Yeah.
their family, like do and live a really good life, you know. So I think being an artist doesn't necessarily mean being famous
Leaving
or
behind
being,
a, yeah, like leaving
yeah,
behind
or
a legacy.
living a legacy. Being an
Mm.
artist is also earning a living making art.
Mm-hmm.
And most of artists are workers, you know, people who work
Mm-hmm.
and make art, and people consume it and like it, or and enjoy it, and then
Mm-hmm.
that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Does it need to be more? I mean, you don't
Yeah.
really have a control over that anyway, so
Yeah.
yeah.
No, that makes sense. I like that answer.
Between tracks.